Tell me if this sounds familiar. Your client asks you, "Hey, can you get this done for me by the end of next month?" You experience a knee-jerk reaction and find yourself saying, "Sure thing, no problem." After all, your client is the one paying the bill at the end of the month, and besides, you want to come across as tolerant, kind, and polite. Here is the thing. Once you commit to delivering the work, the clock of your lead time has started ticking. And there is a big difference between the point in time when your client gives you a request and the point in time when you commit to delivering to it. They are not the same thing. You shouldn't commit to delivering a request at the moment it arrives. If it's not crucial, the work should go through your discovery process before you make your final commitment. Think about your discovery process as a funnel. Not all of the work items will go through. There will be items that you commit to working on now, others you leave for later, and another type that you discard altogether. Remember, your delivery workflow will always be the bottleneck of your system. Your capacity is limited, so you should choose wisely what work you initiate. That's why it's so important to make sure you don't commit to a customer request right away. You have to set realistic expectations. Why do you need to define the commitment point? Commitment means just that. You are responsible and ready to start. It's the point at which the clock starts ticking and your lead time starts tracking. Don't promise to deliver a work item until you have selected that work item for your next iteration. Only then should you move forward, communicate your decision to your client, and begin tracking your lead time. With all that being said, we want to define lead time as the time between a request being committed and a work item being released. Now, let's go back to that opening scenario for a moment. Your awesome client asks you, "Do you think you can get this done for me by the end of the month?" Has your client given you a request? Yes. Has your lead time begun? No. Your lead time doesn't begin until you commit and agree to your client's request. Here is the thing. Before you've committed to a certain task, it's considered optional. And yes, feel free to discard options from your backlog if they have diminished in value. What I want you to remember is this. You decide when is your point of commitment. Your lead time doesn't begin when your client requests the work. It starts when you commit to doing the work. It's your decision to make. You should always go through the process of narrowing down your options before deciding to initiate the work. You might be thinking now, what is cycle time then? Cycle time begins as soon as your team gets to work on the deliverable. And the easiest way to think about this is cycle time is a subset of lead time. It's contained within it. The key difference between cycle time and lead time is the time between the commitment point and the point when your team initiates the work. During your commitment period and before the work has been put into the process, no work is happening yet. You're in a parking lot. So the difference essentially is the inactive period after you've committed to the work, but before you've actually started it. So if your business context entails selecting the new work item from your backlog, at the moment your team has the capacity to take on new work, then your cycle time and your lead time become the same thing. Why do we have two different names then? If that's the case, you certainly don't need two of them. I would stick to cycle time. As long as everyone understands the same thing when you're using the term, you're in a great place. If that's not the case though, it has to do with what the focus is on. When we talk about lead time, the focus is on measuring and analyzing how long your client will have to wait for the deliverable once we have committed to delivering it. When we talk about cycle time, the focus is on analyzing our internal performance and the obstacles that could get in the way of delivering our results.